basically he's got to switch around and shit. Too used to the warm weather. A little too used to it. Slower weekend this weekend with Petersburg, I think, in Russia. I think all the events in Russia are kind of, they hold back a little bit of talent at times. Let me go to last week's. So I didn't have this prepared. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I always think that the Russia cards are kind of off on paper, and then a lot of times they don't really hit whenever it goes live. But Olenek and Overeem, I think it's a great fight. I think it's got a couple of good fights on the main card we're going to talk about. But I don't really see a lot. I'm on Martian Type War on the prelims, but I don't see a lot of good fights on the card. And it's going to be tough to follow what we just seen, especially in those last two fights with 236 in Atlanta. Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway, of course, we know Dustin Poirier won that fight, obviously. I mean, I'd say, in my opinion, we know both of the guys in the main and the co-main event won their fights. But Dustin Poirier convincingly. Israel Adesanya was a back and forth fight with Kevin Gastelum, and I think he edged it out. I think that the judges also obviously thought that. I think they might have called it unanimous, but it was really back and forth for me, and just a crazy fucking fight, honestly. Right before that, we seen Khalil Roundtree just abuse Eric Anders. Didn't see that coming. Not abuse him, but he rocked him a bunch of times and just never went for the finish. Kind of just let him keep standing up. Dwight Grant got a decision. Excuse me, these late night ones, man. Excuse me. Nikita Krylov got a submission win over OSP. We all remember OSP got his first Von Flue choke against Nikita Krylov. So getting that submission win back 1-1 against OSP. Pantoja got the knockout over Wilson Hayes. Max Griffin, that fight was pretty good. Bill Muhammad, that fight was great. He beat up Curtis Blanda pretty good. Let's see. Brandon Davis submission. Oh, dude, right to start off the bat. Quick out the second round, man. Brandon Davis with the submission. Started the night off quick. I don't know what I'm going to score yet. I haven't decided what I'm going to score yet. Spice level. Boom, spice level. I don't know what I'm going to score that yet, but I don't think the game's going to come back on. Oh, yeah. We're going to watch the game while I'm doing the stream. Just because I'd be bored in here talking to you guys by myself. What the fuck goes on? Only done my Saturday streams. We have 2 on Saturday. For all you 100 tops motherfuckers that are gonna come watch this video. We're doing 2 on Saturday. So let's get like fucking 50,000 people in this fucking YouTube channel somehow. 236, great card. Petersburg, we're gonna move on. Main card, Overeem, Olenek. Probably one of the better, I'd say, veteran fights you're gonna see, because they're both very dangerous at this point in their careers. Still, it's not one of those, those old kind of. Like, I mean, the closest thing, just because the most recent pop in your head thing you can think of is, it's not like the Chuck Tito fucking 3 or Chuck Tito 4, whatever that was. The most recent one in Bellator. It's not like that. It's not like out of your prime legends fighting. It's like Overeem and Olenek are still getting wins. Uh, you know, um, most recently, he just Overeem just knocked out Sergey Pavlovich, who was fighting also on the main card. Um, he's got 13 out of his 17 wins by knockout. Overeem, he's a kickboxing legend. 44-17 MMA record. With Olenek having 57 wins and 11 losses as his MMA record. 53 out of his 57 wins coming by way of finish. 45 of those 57 finishes or those 57 wins uh, were by submission. Um, so his submission. He's definitely looking for a takedown against Overeem. Uh, he's on a 2-fight win streak, Olenek. He submitted Albanian and Mark Hunt also. Mark Hunt was his last fight, and that was in September. Um, Boa Constrictor. Yeah, I remember. Boa Constrictor. Okay, Alexi Boa Constrictor Olenek. I don't know what the fuck his name is. But yeah, I got Overeem by first round knockout. Wild card. Overeem first round knockout. Um, just cause that's what I want to see, man. If that card is really slow like it is, at least you would save the main event streak that the UFC's got going on right now, because they've had fucking fire main events since I think the fucking beginning of the year. And even though the TJ Dillashaw main event is kind of like tainted, uh, whatever, still a fucking crazy fight. Islam Makhachev, and I said I was gonna fucking translate these, like I was gonna like listen to the names before I fucking read them, but nah, we're gonna call him Armin. Um, only referring to you as Armin, bro, because I can't pronounce your last name. And you probably don't know what the fuck I'm saying because you probably don't speak my language, but whatever. Islam Makhachev 16-1 as a pro. Um, 5-1 in the UFC. 4-fight winning streak right now. Gleason Tebow, Nick Lentz, and then Chris Wade, who did pretty well in the PFL tournament just last. So he's got notable wins over guys at the top of his division. Not the top, fucking, let's not get ahead of ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Not the bottom, though. 16-1, only one loss. My man Arman, though, this is going to be his UFC debut. He's 13-1 coming into this. That's all we know about him. So I obviously got Islam Makhachev. Is this Arman guy going to shock the world? Maybe. May I not be giving him as much credit as he deserves? Definitely. But I just couldn't see enough in what, like, I didn't, the organization you fought in, the people you fought, I didn't really see anything in that 13-1 record that would make me pick you over Islam Makhachev, period. Sergey Pavlovich, we talked about earlier, going against Marcelo Golm. Pavlovich 12-1 MMA record. His one loss was his last one, his UFC debut against Overeem. And 9 out of 12 of his wins are by knockout. So he's a stand-up fucking god. Marcelo Golm is 6-2 in MMA, 1-2 in the UFC. Both his losses in MMA coming in the UFC. One by Tim Johnson and one by Arjan Bjalhuler. I think that's how you say his name. So obviously, I think my man Glom was just not on the a level of the high UFC talent, I think Sergey uh, Pavlovich it has a very good chance of, you know, um, becoming elite level at heavyweight. So definitely got Pavlovich by knockout. I'd say second round-ish. Second roundish. Let's see how to pronounce this. Ivan Shirikov and Devin Clark, light heavyweight, 15-0. Shirikov. Last two wins were by knockout, Fabio Maldonado and Thiago Silva. Devin Clark is 9-3 in MMA, 3-3 in the UFC. All of his MMA losses coming in the UFC. Um, Lost by knockout to Alexandra uh, Rajic back in December. Um, I'm gonna sound fucking weird. Fucking can't pronounce none of these names, but definitely got Ivan Shirikov. Um, Notable wins, and Devin Clark seems like he's going to be on his way out of the UFC pretty soon. So Shirikov, more than likely somewhere close to his home turf there. Um, Next fight, Roxanne Modafferi versus Antonia Shevchenko, sister of Valentina Shevchenko. Um, Roxanne Modafferi is 22-15 in MMA, so veteran, obviously. Last fight was unanimous decision loss to Eubanks in UFC 230 in November. While Shevchenko went 39-1 in kickboxing, but is only 7-0 in MMA. Two knockouts, five decisions is her win. Is her fights, basically her lineups. And how she got in the UFC is she took a Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series fight, which is just fun to say. And um, but she took one of those fights, won by knockout, immediately got into the UFC because of her name, obviously, and a knockout win in the Contender Series. And then she gets a win over this name, man. And she gets a win over Ji Young Kim, and now she's fighting Roxanne Modafferi in the top of the division, and I think a big win here turns Valentina Shevchenko and Tina Shevchenko into a superstar pair of UFC brother sister, somewhat like uh, Nick Diaz, just you're not one of the like. No offense to Matt Serra at all, but to Nick Serra, his brother, is nothing on any kind of level of Matt, and if Antonia could get on, like Antonia could get the belt as well with Valentina, that'd be the first two siblings to do that at the same time or period. That'd be accomplishments right there. Um, fuck, last fight of the main card, and look what I got to deal with right here. I'm not even gonna show you the fucking. All right, let's go for this. Let's go for this. Let's go for this. Let's go for this. I'm going for both. I'm going for both. Kristen Shiskov, Jotko, and Alan Ametsky. Jotko is he hasn't fought since April 14th last year. So on the 20th, when he fights, it would be a year and 6 days after his last fight. Just took a little bit of time off. He was on a 3-fight losing streak before taking that time off, where he got knocked out most recently by Brad Tavares. Before that, by Uriah Hall, and then before that, he dropped a decision to David Branch. 19-4, 12 out of 19 of his wins are by decision. Uh, Always interesting when a guy has more wins by decisions. Um, Allen, of course, 8-0 in MMA. Trains at American Top Team in Rome. Last two fights were in Bellator, and he has 8 knockouts out of his 8 MMA wins. So Rising Guy or Jotko. Let's do it, Alan. Decision win. Let's do it, buddy. Let's rise in the UFC. You know what I mean? Help me out here. The fucking numbers. Island fights. Hope I can get an island fight schedule soon. Maybe we'll go out to one of those. Thinking about one of the PFLs. Um, King of the Cage and Augusta. We're trying to get into. Trying to go cover some MMA. Put the content out for you guys, video, all that. It's got big things coming up. Like I said, 2 streams on Saturday. Live fight paint stream, 420 stream at night. You know, that's it. Short one for the night. Great night. Island Fights hit me up. King of the Cage hit me up. I want to talk to you guys as well. PFL, hit me back up. What are we talking? Hit me up. Everybody hit me up. Or we can put motherfuckers.